First of all, congratulations to Cleveland Browns, your fans, coaching staff, and you know, you guys kicked our ass today. 36-7, because I don't count garbage time points. When the Browns are playing at half speed and let Davis Mills score 15 points towards the last 6 minutes remaining. I think another one of 4 minutes remaining. I don't care. They just spotted us those points as sort of like a gentleman's sweep. All right. And, what happens when CJ Stroud's not playing? Team looks like a different team, definitely, without their starting franchise quarterback, who is out. Rumors has it he's out maybe even next week against the Titans that come to NRG Stadium. And we have a good chance to win that game. In fact, both games at the end are very winnable. The Titans come here. We'll go at Indy. Very winnable games. And the AFC South is complete trash. 3 teams at 8-7. Colts, Jaguars, and us. All 8-7. So Jaguars, for some odd reason, hold the tiebreaker at all 3 of us. So I think all 3 of us are playing terrible. But nonetheless, it's 3-team race at the end. We can still play for a division, possibly the last wildcard spot. So it's not over. So there's something to look forward to. Well, let's get back to this game. All right. First of all, the first drive by the Browns was just, they scored within a minute and 40 seconds of the game. And Flacco throws like an 85-yard pass to Amari Cooper, who he can't even stop at all. It didn't matter if he was covered, double covered. He was double covered on that play and still made a catch. Between Stingley and Nelson, who, by the way, Nelson got hurt, then was out of the game, status unknown, affected us. They couldn't stay on him. They couldn't stop Amari Cooper. 11 motherfucking catches for 265 yards and 2 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion. He was targeted 16 times and made 11 catches. And Flacco was averaging 8.8 yards per reception. Then at halftime, he was averaging around 13 yards per play. It was sickening. Couldn't stop Amari Cooper. We couldn't stop Jerome Ford. We couldn't stop Kareem Hunt. Couldn't stop Njoku. But most importantly, Amari Cooper we couldn't stop. And we couldn't stop the arm of Joe Flacco. He was throwing those passes backfield and was confident he was going to find his man. Didn't matter if he was covered, double covered, single covered. I couldn't name one play that Amari Cooper was not covered. He was covered every play, and even double covered, he was still catching passes. Unbelievable. And, hats off to the Cleveland Browns. Now, I'll tell this to anybody right now. If you're playing the Cleveland Browns at what are they now, 10-5? And you go into the game and you say, same old Browns, right? Because that's sort of the whole slogan and how it goes in the NFL when it comes to storylines. And you walk into that game and you say, oh, this is the same old Browns, I'm going to let you know right now, you're going to get your ass kicked. I'm going to argumentatively say they've got to have a top 3 defense in the league. That pass rush, sick. We couldn't convert on any 3rd and longs. No matter how many times Keenum was hurried, couldn't find any receivers open. And just Myles Garrett was just all over his ass. And we had no answer. And the couple plays we managed to make, like some big runs in the first quarter, were miraculously called back by the referees because they decided to throw a fucking flag and at the very last second. Oh, there's a holding or whatever on the offensive line, and that's going to go back. And they would always call it miraculously late after the runner's down. Oh, amazing that those flags were called. Amazing. And by the way, I looked at the replay, and there was no holding call at all. So there were like 2 holding calls y'all made that took us back. And that was not a hold at all. Okay, in the pass interference on Amari Cooper, that 75-yard touchdown from Joe Flacco, that was not a pass interference. I can tell you that right the fuck now. I looked at the replay dozens of times. That was not a pass interference. But it didn't really matter anyway because Amari Cooper caught the pass and none of the defenders could bring him down, which there were 2 defenders on him. And no one could bring him down, and he just scored a touchdown anyway on a 75-yard fucking bomb from Flacco. Flacco got all the time in the pocket he needed. We had no pass rush on Flacco. So he was able to throw the ball when he wanted. And it didn't matter who was on Cooper. He was going to catch the ball. It just is what it is. And, we didn't have our starting quarterback, so that hurts. Case Keenum was in there. I'm not, expecting him to, to be the Casey Keenum we had back in 2012, 2011 to 2015, 2016. Case Keenum, no. But to be fair, I thought maybe he'd be on the level of Ryan Fitzpatrick, and he looks like he's at the end of his career. So I highly doubt we'll be keeping Keenum after this year. I'm just going to be honest with you. I think he will probably be gone after this year. And rightfully so. In fact, Davis Mills came in with garbage time stats, to be fair, and had better stats than Keenum did the whole game, which goes to show you right there that maybe Davis Mills should have started. But that's nor here nor there. The Cleveland Browns they got an amazing pass rush, amazing fucking defense. They got some offensive weapons in Njoku and Amari Cooper and Wilson and then they got, the run game going on with Kareem Hunt. So the Browns have a very good team. They got Joe Flacco, and that guy's got an amazing arm. I don't care what anybody says. He went from sitting on the couch, playing terrible with the Jets, and kind of bouncing around from team to team to team. All of a sudden, he seemed to found a home in Cleveland. The city of Cleveland's embraced him, and Joe Flacco is this looks like about 10 years younger. Let's just say it like that out there in the field. And his arm mechanics are amazing, finding the receivers open. And nonetheless, he looks like the Joe Flacco from the Super Bowl Joe Flacco with the Baltimore Ravens. And if you're a Cleveland Browns fan, you have everything to look forward to with this guy. Maybe this is a Geno Smith sort of ordeal, where Geno Smith, guy was kind of buried in his career, kind of was going nowhere, and then all of a sudden resurged and found himself in a 3 or 4 year deal. Maybe Joe Flacco might do the same. Maybe Cleveland Browns might make a contract offer to Joe Flacco and thus send Deshaun Watson away. So Deshaun Watson decides to tweet after the game, Texans aren't standing on no high moral ground. We beat those bums 4 times. Well, first of all, yes, the Browns have beat us the last 4 times. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Number 2, you haven't played football in like 3.5 of those years. In one of those years, you were sitting on the bench with us during COVID. Okay? And secondly, mostly, you haven't done shit for Cleveland since you've been there. Fourth and foremost, you might lose your job to Joe Flacco. You might find yourself released next year, Deshaun Watson. And, by the way, I think you're the last person that should be talking about high moral ground with your 32 sexual abuse allegations. Just saying. I think you're the last person that should be talking about high moral ground. You know what I mean? So if you want to call us a bunch of bums, you can feel free to fly down to Houston and you can say that to our faces anytime you want to. It's not that hard to pull up. And you can definitely do so to Sexual Watson. And that's the last thing I'm going to say about that punk. But to get back to the game nonetheless, Cleveland Browns are the real deal. And if anybody walks into that stadium, whether you're on the road or at home, and you think, oh, same old Browns, we're trying to do them away, they got some good quality wins this year. They beat the Ravens. They beat Pittsburgh. I believe they beat Cincinnati. And, hey, they got a good quality win against us. The Browns are finding ways to get wins. And they're 10-5, quietly under the radar. What I call it under the radar, I mean, can we say that this is a new dark horse team in the league? Can anybody say that? We thought it was Denver. Denver just lost to the Patriots. I don't think they're that team anymore. I thought the Texans maybe were a dark horse team. Maybe still could be. But as of right now, they're not. I think it is led to believe for me, I believe the Browns are the dark horse team in the AFC right now. I don't think there's any debate about it. In fact, we might see 3 teams from the AFC North make the playoffs because you still got Steelers, Bengals in the mix. You got the Bills. I think they jumped us too, so Buffalo's in there. The Browns are probably going to be in there. They should win one more game. They'll clinch a playoff berth, at least minimum. So that's probably going to leave one more spot open. That's going to be that 7th spot. The Texans could get that, or they could get the 4th spot. Now, if we do get the 4th spot, we'll be playing Cleveland at 5. And that'll be a rematch. Unless somehow the Jagtards hold out or the Colts do, then it looks like Cleveland Browns will be playing the AFC South team in the playoffs at one of our stadiums. I guess we'll have to find out what's going to happen then. So like I said, Marvin says, fuck that bum Deshaun Watson. You tell him to come say it to our face. Yeah, facts. Yeah, facts. Like I said, when it comes to high moral ground and stuff, Deshaun Watson, I think you're the last person that should be talking about high moral ground. Like I said, why don't you go find some more masseuse women that take advantage of you, piece of shit? But that's just me, That's just me. But with that being said, the Browns fans, you have something to celebrate for. Deshaun Watson, you go fuck yourself. And that's it. And looks like Joe Flacco is going to get the Geno Smith contract. And I'm proud of him. And with Browns fans going through so many years of suffering, they've been playing some argumentatively exciting football the last 3 or 4 years, nonetheless. Is Kevin Stefanski going to save his job? Maybe. Browns make a run in the playoffs. The Cleveland Browns could make a run at the Lombardi. And I never thought I would be saying that. Imagine the Browns possibly making the Super Bowl this year. They have a defense. They have weapons on the offensive regime. And their arsenal. Sorry, not regime, but arsenal. Sorry, using the wrong terminology. They have a quarterback. A guy who's experienced and has, 25 game-winning drives for his career? Or in the 20s, somewhere in there. Joe Flacco's got Super Bowl experience. He has a Super Bowl ring. And the guy's got an amazing arm. And by all means, if he can stay healthy, I think the Browns have an opportunity to make a run at a Lombardi. I never thought I would be saying that. Could Cleveland go in and sneak in? But they'd have to win on the road, but they can do it. The Browns can win on the road. This is a very dangerous Cleveland Browns team, and they're playing with a lot of confidence. And, hey, Caitlin, what's up? I saw your comment. I'm not mad that we lost. I just think that, we have injuries. Nico Collins is back. He had a touchdown today. Hey, kudos to you in garbage time. But like I said, where were all y'all guys when it counted? When you're down 36-7 and the Browns decide to take – and really, I could make the argument the Cleveland Browns stopped playing us around right before the half. They decided to go for it on 4th down, which really they should have took the 3 and went up 31-7 at halftime. Instead, they try to get greedy and take another 7, throws a pick to Derek Stingley Jr. Towards the half. And there goes D'Amico Ryans going out there flexing, talking shit and kind of running his mouth. And I said, D'Amico, you're down 28-7. Look at the scoreboard. We're not generating any offense. There's not really nothing to flex over. It's not nothing to flex over. Yeah, we picked off Joe Flacco twice in the first half. I'll give you credit to that. We did do that. But at the same time, it didn't really matter. The score's 28-7. And the Browns knew we weren't going to generate any offense, and they know we're not going to score. So they had the utmost confidence they were going to go for it on 4th down. In fact, they did that in the second half. That's how they got to 36, because they went for it on 4th down and made it. Instead of taking 3s, they just took shots at the end zone because they know our offense ain't going to get in the end zone. They know our offense wasn't generating anything, and their defense pretty much had a pass rush that pretty much stopped the Texans from having any momentum, and we lost. And the Browns played at half speed, probably the second half. None of our touchdowns came in until the very end of the game. And the only touchdown that we really had that I really even give credit to was a kickoff return for 98 yards for Damian Pierce. I'll give him credit for that. That was after the Amari Cooper 75-yard touchdown pass from Joe Flacco. The opening kickoff, 98-yard touchdown by Damian Pierce. Barely made it, too. He ran out of gas around the 10-yard line, but nonetheless, he got in. So I give credit to him for a 98-yard kickoff return. Other than that, the other touchdowns were kind of in garbage time. I think Andrew Beck had one. Our fullback had one towards the end. And Nico Collins had one. Welcome back, Nico. We need you back in that lineup. But nonetheless, I expected us to lose today. I expected the Browns to come in and beat us. I just didn't think that it was going to be this bad. I thought that if anything, Case Keenum was going to get some kind of offense going. The guy just looks like a shell of his former self, and he doesn't look that good anymore. And I was going to be honest with you, the Titans really kind of spotted him to win. They played very conservative in the second half and kind of gave Case Keenum a chance. And Case Keenum just looks like he's towards the tail end of his career. I think he would make a great third-string quarterback somewhere in the league. I just think his days here are done. He's a journeyman, serviceman. I appreciate all the good years that Case Keenum did, but yeah, he's done, man. It just is what it is. It's unpersonal, but it just is what it is. So we got the Titan Tards next week, who we've already beaten. They come to NRG Stadium in a must win. We got to win that game. We got to stay in the race for the wild card, aka division. So we got to win next week. We got a big game against Titans, and that's our last home game of the year. So this could potentially put us at 9-7 if we win this game. We're still going to need a lot of help. Going down the stretch. I don't know who Jacksonville plays next week, but we need a lot of help. Definitely need a lot of help. And then the final week, we go at Indianapolis, and I don't know anything can happen in that game. So that's what I'm saying. There's no guarantee that could be for the division title or a wild card spot, depending on what Jacksonville does. But it's a 3-team race for the final spot for the divisional, and then the rest of it's all wild card. But nonetheless, I'm not making excuses. I'm not blaming the refs. A lot of you say, "Oh, you're blaming the refs." I'm like, no, I didn't blame the refs. It's just some of the calls they made were bogus. That was not a pass interference on Amari Cooper, but he scored a touchdown anyway, so it didn't matter. That was not a holding that they called back in the first quarter. Those 2 holding calls. That was not a holding. That was not. So, to be honest with you, it's whatever. It is what it is. The game was already over once the 75-yard touchdown pass was committed. In fact, you can make the argument that the game was over after the 80-something yard pass to Amari Cooper with like 14 minutes in the first quarter, and we just had no answer for Amari Cooper. In fact, the Browns were so cocky, they went for it on 4th fucking down. And it was like 4th and 8. Flock almost got tackled. Still gets the ball off to Wilson and got the first fucking down by the skin of his teeth. And a diving catch on a 3rd down. We had the Browns pinned back on their own, 3 or 4. In a crucial 3rd down play, Flacco was able to still connect with Amari Cooper, dragging his feet inbounds with 2 defenders on him, getting the first down and moving the chains. We just couldn't fucking stop that guy. We had no answer for Amari Cooper. We couldn't stop him at all. 11 catches, 265 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That says enough. I know Jerome Hunt had that first touchdown, but that was off the Amari Cooper 80-something yard catch. That put them in position to then have the Jerome Ford touchdown. And like I said, the game was over the minute the first touchdown was scored with 13 minutes and change. And the Browns were able to score in under 2 minutes. I knew the game was over. After Amari Cooper, 75-yard touchdown pass from Joe Flacco with this bogus pass interference call that was not a pass interference. But once that touchdown was scored, it was 14-zip. I said, yep, the game's over. Because we just have no answer for Amari Cooper. We tried doubling him. We tried switching guys on him. We put our best defenders on him. Nelson and Stingley, and he still was catching the fucking ball. we had no answer for Amari Cooper. And the Browns they just exposed us, and they whipped our ass. They whipped our candy ass, the old wrestling term. They took us out to the woodshed. It is what it is, right? They took us out to the woodshed and they beat our candy ass. It's like a main event when, like, Goldberg faces like some like jobber guy, and he's gonna win the match. It's like a filler like squash match. Like, that's us, the jobber, the guys with thumb up in the air, and you know. But our division is terrible. You're right, Spider. And that's the only reason why I'm still a little bit excited to see where this goes. So, nonetheless, even if CJ Stroud doesn't play the last two games, I still think they're winnable games. We can beat the Titans. We've already beaten them before without Stroud. We can beat them again. Right? And after that, we got the Colts at Indy. Now, that's an iffy. Whether it's Mills or Keenum will start. I still think we could. These are two winnable games at the end of the season. With even if Stroud doesn't play, we can still win those games. They're still winnable games, and especially the next game against Titans, I'm confident we can beat them. Even if Stroud is not coming back, I still think we can beat them. And like I said, I think the Texans are going to be very careful with Stroud's head injury. I think it makes a lot of sense. As much as I want to see him back, if the test and everything, and he's just not ready to go, he's just not ready to go. There's no sense in rushing a guy and putting him in a situation like other quarterbacks like Tua and all them that will come back from head injury, and they're getting all these constant head injuries. That nasty hit against the Jets was a dirty play, took my guy out, and it looked nasty. And I just said this is something that could linger on for the rest of the season. They may even sit him out next week against Titans. And I'm okay with that because I honestly think we can win that game, even without Stroud. I think that if we could put Keenum or Davis Mills and let both them play, I think we could beat the Titans, bro. Because we got a good enough roster to compete with them. They're in tank mode anyway. So this is a good opportunity for the Texans to capitalize off of CJ Stroud's absence. So it's not over until a fat lady sings. She hadn't sung yet, and we still got a chance for our division in the shitty ass AFC South conference division. So nonetheless, I think we got an opportunity to still come out of the AFC South, and even if we don't, the wild card's still up for grabs. That last spot is still there for us. So Texans fans, just don't lose hope. We're 8-7. It is what it is. We're slightly above 500. We could still finish 10-7. I like to think maybe 9-8. I think we can win one more game. At least in these next two. We're gonna need some help. Obviously, we're gonna need the Jacksonville Jagtards to lose some more. We're gonna need the Titan Tards to lose some more. Okay, we're gonna need those things to happen. It's not easy. It's not easy. And this season is not over. So there's no need to panic. There's no need to panic. We got the Titans here in RG. In Tennessee, we're going to kick your ass. Don't get it twisted. You guys are done. You are done. And we're going to finish you off next week. We're going to sweep your ass. And here's the beauty of it. We don't need Stroud to beat you, because we can do it without him. So we are going to be prepared. We're going to be prepared. We're going to kick the fucking Titans' ass next week. Then you can mark my words, take it to the bank. They're coming to NRG, and we're going to beat the living shit out of the Titan Tarts. And you can take it to the bank. In the final week, at Colts, that's going to be the game. But you never, ever, ever, ever want to look past a team. Ever. You never want to do that. So Tennessee Titans, you're next this week. Okay? And we're going to kick your fucking ass. We're going to get that 9th win. and go into the final week. But we got you this week. Okay? So we can beat you without Stroud. If Stroud don't play this week, we good. Because we can beat you without him. It don't matter if it's Davis Mills or Case Keenum. We can beat you. And we know we can. And we've already done it. We've already went into your house and won. And now you got to come to our house after that. We're not going to lose another home game in a row, like 2 in a row to end the season. Nuh-uh. We're going to win this week. We're going to beat you guys in our house. We're going to go to 9-7. And in that last game against the Colts is going to be war. This is going to be up for the division and everything. And Jacksonville's going to want to be a part of the mix. And then, you know, the Jaguars had every opportunity to lock this division up. They choked at the end. I don't even think they deserve to make the playoffs. But nonetheless, they hold the tiebreaker over all of us. So the three-way tie, Jaguars hold the tiebreaker. For now. For now. They're safe. But Jacksonville, you got to win the last 2 games. And are you going to do that? Are you going to win the last 2? Because you sure as hell look like you haven't won in about a month. And you guys look like shit. You look like shit. You smell like shit. And your record is shit. And all that praising you did with that roster and how you were going to run the South. And I even bought into it. But you guys have not conquered our division yet because you've allowed the Colt Tards and us to gain right behind you. We're all tied. So if you lose again this week, you might be trailing your division. Our division, that's not good. So with that being said, the Browns took us out to the woodshed and they gave us a good old-fashioned ass whooping. I expected to lose by 10 points. I did not expect to lose the score we lost. We looked terrible today. Nothing went our way. And defensively, we had no answer on the offensive side of the ball. We had no answer on the offense. In fact, if you really think about it, the only 2 offensive touchdowns we had were in garbage time. The only touchdown we legitimately had was a kickoff return. That's it. That was our only offense of the day. Everything else sucked. It was just everything that went wrong in this game went wrong. And it's just another one of those games where you wake up the next day and you're like, let's get off this hangover and let's move on. So Cleveland, your fans, Moohead, Crazy Dog, and all the other fans that go on your videos, shout out to you guys. Shout out to you, man. You guys came in and just straight up mollywopped us in our house. You beat us actually the last 4 times. You know? So congratulations, guys. You've owned us since COVID, and we can't beat you. I don't know why. You guys just got the formula beating us. We haven't beaten you guys since 2019, and it's still an itch I want to scratch. I'm tired of losing to you motherfuckers. You guys built up a winning streak against us. 4-0. 4-0. So you guys have developed, that defense y'all built, sick. Offensive weapons, sick. The Browns look damn good. Now you plug Joe Flacco into that. And Joe Flacco is looking like Geno Smith, player comeback of the year. And I like him. I like Joe Flacco. I've always had respect for the guy, Super Bowl winner. I have nothing but respect for him. Merry Christmas, Will. And the Browns came out and just kicked our ass. We had no answer for Joe Flacco or Amari Cooper. There was just no answer. 11 receptions, 265 yards for Amari, 2 touchdowns, 2-point conversion. I'm telling you, We had no answer. It's just there's no other way to put it. We're 8-7. The Browns are within one. I think they need one more win. They pretty much clinched the division. And I mean, they clinch a playoff berth. I'm sorry. They need a win next week. But nonetheless, I have the utmost respect for those guys, their organization, their fans, and I just have the utmost respect for you guys. When you guys came out, you beat us. You owned us. Congratulations. Texans fans, don't worry. Even if Stroud does not play next week, we can beat the Titans. It's not a big deal. We beat them last week in their house. Okay? So if that's the case, we can go, and when they come here like that, we're going to whoop their candy ass. And then after that, we got the Colts in the last week. So it's all up for grabs now. Division title, wild cards, all that's up for grabs. These next two games are all in. We got to go all in as one. So Texans fans, this is time to unite. God damn it, this is time to unite and come together for a common cause. And that's let's go out there and win the AFC South, bro. And if we do, we might see Cleveland again. And hopefully Stroud will be back this time. And it'll be a playoff game. And a wild card showdown in NRG. So we get that rematch against you motherfuckers. So with that being said, yeah, congratulations to Cleveland. Your fans. You guys deserve it. You're 10-5. You're the better team. You might even make fucking Super Bowl with that roster. Pending injuries. But nonetheless, congratulations, guys. Good fucking win. Go Texans, I guess. We'll see you next week against Titans. I'm out.